Hello there, my very good friends, and a warm welcoming good afternoons to you on this video. WWE is pissed at the Vince McMahon documentary.
Is SmackDown getting a third hour?
New faction might be coming to AEW.
And Cash Wheeler almost retired?
What?
I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Scatman John.
And this, beep bap bada bada bo, is the news.
Beep beep bap
After
bada
news
bo.
even.
Beep bap bo ba-do. Right, let's talk about this Mr. McMahon documentary that's coming up next week.
Oh, next Wednesday,
Next
isn't it?
Wednesday, the 25th of September. It's the day I go on vacation. Can't wait.
That's your first day sorted?
Yeah, well, I'm not touching it till I come home, baby. I don't want to listen to pure misery. But no, it's hotly anticipated, obviously, and one of the main discussions around this thing is what are they going to talk about? There's no shortage of controversies when it comes to Vince McMahon, going all the way back to the 1980s, baby, and of course, in the modern day with the Janelle Grant situation and various others stemming off from that. So a lot of the conversation is, are they going to deep dive on that, or is it just going to be like an astroturfing thing? Are they just going to go, oh, he's a business genius, and ignore the tough stuff? Well, it sounds like they're not going to be ignoring the tough stuff, at least according to Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer Radio. He was, of course, involved in this. He was interviewed for it. Presumably he'll be a talking head on it, you think?
Yeah, you essentially probably turn to them and say, tell them what happened, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. Brian Alvarez will be doing the voiceover. It'll be perfect. But here's what Dave said on Wrestling Observer Radio. I can only say that the documentary, the director, who did the documentary, covered with me every single thing that I would expect them to cover. There were no stones unturned. So that suggests they've done everything.
Yes.
But we got some further comments here from Big Dave, who says, I know that there are people in WWE who are not happy with it. He said that these are mostly pro-Vince people. So that says a fair bit. We'll see. I will say that I am certain that the people who are really anti-Vince will not be happy. They're actually going to be in a tough situation because the people who are really anti-Vince are not going to be happy because I suspect there'll be a lot of pro-Vince stuff in there. A lot. The people that are pro-Vince will also likely not be happy because presumably they're going to dive into the other stuff as well. So it does sound like they're going to cover the wrestling, the business, and the terrible things, the unspeakable things. We should note as well that yesterday, Janelle Grant's attorney, Ann Callis, held like a media call, like a press thing of her own ahead of the documentary coming out. We know that Janelle Grant's not going to be featured on the documentary, turned it down. Ann Callis, the attorney, commented Janelle Grant deserves to tell her own story, not be part of someone else's, and quite right. That will be, that's going to play out in court someday. So there you go. Sounds like it's going to be pretty comprehensive. But the truth will be the proof. Sorry, I can actually say proof because it has an F and not a TH. The proof will be in the pudding on Wednesday. Yeah,
it's weird to sit here and say I'm excited for this documentary to drop because it is. Yeah, it's going to be probably quite a harrowing experience. It's a hell of a tightrope to walk, isn't it? Because you do have to kind of cover both sides. He is a genius when it comes to taking over the industry. But you also, I think the concern from us and many other people were they were going to say, oh, Vince was incredible, attitude era, running the game, basically. Yeah. And we all had our faults. Here's Trish barking like a dog. And you were concerned that they were just going to, like you say, just sort of gloss over, in episode 6, he wasn't always the best dude, actually. He was nasty to some of his employees. And it's like, no. If you're going to do this right. Yeah, I mean, I can understand if you're pro-Vince within WWE, you're not happy about this, but they're only telling you the truth about what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the Janelle Grant lawsuit is probably a difficult one to broach because it's like a present situation.
Ongoing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, it's been a big story for the last, 2 years, whatever. When did it kick off? Like last, I can't remember. My memory's shot.
2022.
Yeah, my memory's shot to pieces. But her lawsuit against Vince, WWE, and John Laurinaitis, it's an evolving situation, right? So they have to bring it up, but I wonder how deep they can go into that. That being said, there's no shortage of things from the past. There's the Jimmy Snuka thing that most people are privy to. There's the steroid scandal. There's the Rita Chatterton, of course.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things there. So it's going to be a tricky job for them. Yeah. They're not going to. I think Dave's correct. They're going to piss some people off, but they kind of have to. So
yeah,
that's part of the job.
But I'm very intrigued to see what this 6-part series.
I think so.
He's going to cover. again, not to get off topic here, I am annoyed that they're dropping it all at the same time, because I hate that, because I'm always like, no, don't tell me what happens in episode such and such.
Because there's always someone who has more free time than you, who's watched everything.
I have a child. I have no free time.
Yeah. Me too. I like the weekly.
But we are going to be covering it, we should mention that.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of stuff next week in particular, and Simon will be doing ups and downs as well. We'll say that Netflix and wrestling, the Queen of Villains came out yesterday, and if you've got a Netflix account and you like wrestling, you should check that out. It's really good. It's a dramatization of Dump Matsumoto, who is one of the most famous and infamous women's wrestlers in Japan, in the great history of Joshi. It's really well done, and the wrestling stuff looks unbelievable. So if you want a wrestling documentary, it's not a documentary, autobiographical thing, check that out. It's really good.
I love Netflix documentaries, and if this is half as good as a Dark Side of the Ring episode, then it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be all right.
From the USA Network to confirm or deny this story regarding SmackDown's third hour.
What?
Segue. Yes, this was all over social media yesterday because obviously Raw is going to 2 hours in just a few weeks, in fact, before Raw's moved to Netflix at the start of next year. But WrestleVotes Radio claimed on social media that the USA Network will change to a 3-hour format beginning on January 3rd of 2025, coinciding with Raw's move to Netflix. So with one hand they take away and the other hand they giveth, of course. There are also, interestingly enough, internal talkings that SmackDown might be available to watch on Netflix the day after it airs on TV, which is interesting. I believe Netflix is basically getting everything when it comes to WWE's output if you're here in the UK, but obviously we mentioned the USA Network's deal with SmackDown when it happened. But yeah, third hour to SmackDown, thoughts?
Nope. That's my fault. I don't want it. I know Triple H is better at booking a 3-hour show than a 2-hour show, and I know the Raw's good at the moment and people are locked in, and that's great. I just don't need it. I don't need another hour. I do not want it. I already have to watch this on a Saturday as it is. No, I don't want it. Sorry.
See,
don't like it.
On the other side of this, if someone's going to offer me more cinema, I will take that with hope. I really, really like SmackDown at the moment. Me and Hamlet obviously cover it on a weekly basis, and it's just fun. They've obviously got the biggest stars. Cody and Roman are a team. They're taking on the new version of the Bloodline. LA Knight's champion. Nia Jax is champion. Bianca and Jade are all over that show as well. I really like it. It's questionable whether it's going to work. Like you say, there's fair few teething problems when Raw went to 3 hours, let's be perfectly honest here. And there was also rumblings I heard of a mid-card title for the women being introduced, which I'm actually not against, considering what they've done with this women's North American title and Kalani Jordan on NXT. If that was a sort of test, good. It's worked well. Let's have that sort of thing. But, yeah, we'll wait and see on this one. But it's not going to happen until January, so you've got a bit of time to get used to it.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got at least a few months where we only have to watch 6 hours of WWE programming a week.
Yeah, this is it. And look, we watch wrestling for a living. It's a great job. I don't want to sound like a moaning asshole or anything like that. But yeah, it's just I don't need it. So I don't... Sometimes less is more.
Yeah,
sometimes
I agree.
Less is more. So there we go. Look, I don't want Dynamite to be 3 hours either. So like,
I'll take NXT being 3 hours.
Oh
my God.
That might...
Another hour at the fun fair. Yes, please.
That might be the end of me as a content creator, you know. Might be the end. Right, let's talk about a new faction that might be coming to AEW.
Oh, yeah, interesting this.
PW Insider, and this is a brief report, but there's talk of building a faction around Deonna Purrazzo. So that's good. That's an interesting thing to consider. Deonna's been a solid addition to the women's division so far. She immediately had the title feud. She's kind of jumped on and off of like high-level programs. She had the Thunder Rosa feud recently as well. She's
like vignettes where she's plotting something.
Schemes. So maybe that's what this is leading to. Maybe that's what this is building to. I'd quite like to see a kick-ass women's stable in AEW. I think that'd be a good time.
Well, we don't know necessarily if it's just going to be women, because we can actually exclusively reveal the 4 other people that are going to be joining Deonna's stable, because we want to do 2 each, basically. First name joining the Virtuosa.
Taya Valkyrie, all right.
Okay.
That's doable.
If I get John Morrison here.
Oh.
Ethan Page, you'll have a job, but
maybe not. Let's try someone who still works there.
Might need to update this.
Yeah, we do. It just takes a while. That's why we haven't done it. Christopher Daniels.
Okay.
Fallen angel in the
Oh, good.
Virtuosa.
The authority figure stuff.
Yeah.
I can actually exclusively reveal another member to be Mike Bennett.
Mike Bennett.
I like
Iron
Mike Bennett. And instead of Ethan Page, actually, obviously, I misspoke. What I meant to say there,
Frank Mortos.
was
Les.
Bishop Corn. It's a wild mix. But the honour, but best luck to her. Yeah, excited to see what this looks like.
I love Bishop Khan. He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
He's great. He's so good. He's so terrifying. You know what? He might make you, if you're a wrestler, want to retire. Speaking of which, Cash Wheeler almost retired. What? Yes. This is all in relation, of course, to his arrest in Florida back in July of 2023 for aggravated assault with a firearm. We were all talking about it at the time. Load of speculation on social media, a load of allusions to it, etc., etc. But Cash, alongside Dax, was chatting to Renee on AEW's Close-Up show and said how much of a rough time it was in his life. Understandable, really, when you're going through something like that. And he, as he has protested from the beginning, is innocent, or has said he's innocent, and wanted to clear his name. They talked a lot about this. He's talked about the arrest warrant being dismissed, in his words, as it should have been. But he also mentioned how, they were sort of, maybe, hey, why don't you just take a little plea deal and this all goes away? And he said, well, no, I'm not guilty, first of all, and I can't be doing something like that. He said he couldn't think about life, anything outside of it, until it was dealt with, basically. If a jury found him guilty, that would mean up to a maximum of 5 years in prison if the judge felt that was fit. And he also said if he pled to a reduced charge, his career in AEW basically is done. Yeah. He would have been unable to leave the country. Everything I ever worked for would go away. It was something that never happened. And he went into every match, he says, going into it thinking that it could be their last, which is horrible to think when he should just be enjoying tagging with his mate, really. Yeah, he was alleged, just if you're unaware of this, to have flashed a handgun at another person during a road rage incident on July 27th of 2023. Dax Harwood said when Wheeler came to him with the news and revealed actually that in amongst all this, despite saying I'm going to fight this, I'm going to protest my innocence, Cash, understandably, got so worn down he considered retiring and, in Dax's words, living in his little cabin in the woods so Harwood could move on with his career. Harwood said he had to talk him out of it, later joking that when Cash first approached him, he thought he'd drunk too much.
Wow.
But yeah, a horrible situation to be stuck in if, as Cash says, you're an innocent party and you're... I think they mentioned in this as well about campaigning to have people to do lie detector tests, because it's almost like one of the only ways to sort of prove this, even though I don't know how fallible lie detector tests are. But yeah, the fact that we almost lost one half of one of the best tag teams in the world is a real shame.
Wild. Well, it's always been a bit of a wild case, this, because as far as I'm aware, please correct me if I'm wrong, as far as I'm aware, there was basically zero evidence that he did this. Maybe, please let me know if that's not true, but from what I have read of the case and everything else, it was this guy saying something and Cash saying the other thing, and that's it. So it's all about the he said, she said BS. You think you better quit talking that, or you'll be leaving with a fat lip, as Fred Durst once said. So yeah, it's very difficult to convict someone of anything when there's not really anything that we've been made aware of. But if you're trying to prove your innocence again... Difficult. Yeah, extremely difficult. Unless you've got a dash cam showing you go do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, unless you're Brum and you're sentient. And that's why you should always travel between the towns in Brum, wrestlers. There you go. If you're unaware who Brum is, UK legend. Yeah, hero of the game. Rest in peace. It's I'm not surprised, that this has caused him a lot of turmoil. And he's always struck me as a pretty genuine, honest dude. What you hear about him backstage, he's a very popular guy who just comes to work, does a good job, and doesn't ruffle any feathers. So, whatever happened there, I'm glad that he's been able to put that past him, and I'm glad that he didn't retire.
Yeah.
And I hope that he's in just a better place now.
Now he's mates with the Outrunners, so what a turn up for the books that is.
How could life get any better?
But just another reminder, another entry into the big book, Andy, of sometimes wrestlers are going through stuff that you don't know about, so maybe don't go too hard on them on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. Be nice, eat spice.
And on that
note... As in like paprika and stuff.
Yeah. Like a little cinnamon stick for your teeth.
There you
go. On that note... Let us know your thoughts on everything in the comment section below. If you want to check out this morning's news video, it's available. Boom, right here.
Skadoosh.
Bye.